This one's going to be a bit of a longer one, but I hope you'll stick around because this image is significant from last night when Donald Trump addressed the nation after we found out that we had bombed Iran. Now, why am I able to speak on this? Well, because I have a master's degree in communications, specifically focused in public communications, and I work as a marketing manager, and all day, every day, all I do is plan content and decide how things need to appear so that the eye can be trained in such a way that encourages people to buy into a service. This image shows us exactly who is running the country, and that is the Heritage Foundation and their associates. See, J.D. Vance, he was a nobody. He literally was a nobody, a never Trump guy who was bought and paid for by the Heritage Foundation. That is why he became the vice president nominee and is now our vice president, because they needed a talking head, someone who was maybe unknown, didn't have too much of a background out there in order to get their job done, to destroy the United States and build it from the ground up into some form of Gilead. They literally wrote a whole entire book about it called Project 2025. Which, by the way, the foreword down there was written by Kevin Roberts, who also wrote Dawn's Early Light, which is a similar book to Project 2025, its foreword written by J.D. Vance. And it's my assumption that the Heritage Foundation knows that bombing Iran was not good on a global stage and was not a good look for the United States, despite them wanting to destroy our nation. So look at the symbolism and look at how this is set up specifically for your viewing pleasure. Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and Pete Hegseth, Defense Secretary, are all wearing the same uniform, if you will. Blue suit, white shirt, red tie. They look like a uniformed front. They literally look like cookie cutters of each other in terms of their outfits. Donald Trump is a fucking moron of a president who is a talking figure who distracts from what the Heritage Foundation is truly doing behind the scenes. All you have to do is look at the headlines that Donald Trump produces versus what is listed on congress.gov as actual action happening at our federal government level. Marco Rubio is a sellout. He can be bought and paid for because all he really wants is power. He again was a never Trump guy. He is the son of 2 Cuban immigrants. He is the firstborn in the United States, yet he is encouraging and helping to carry out all of this horrible and atrocious immigration policy. He understands that he's not charismatic enough to become president of the United States, and so this is as good as it was going to get for him. Pete Hegseth, another sellout who just wants power. He is a talking head from Fox News who is loyal to Donald Trump no matter what he does. He had a failed military career. Even his own unit spoke out against him during 2020's inauguration of Joe Biden. They said that his behavior was too extreme, he had concerning tattoos, and it was too much of a risk to have him at that event. And J.D. Vance is the Heritage Foundation, who is absolutely on purpose separated from the other 3 amigos here. He's not only separated physically, but he is also not wearing that uniform. He is not being part of that unified front. He is wearing the blue tie with the white shirt and the suit. Not only is he physically dressed to be separate and physically placed to be separate, but during the speech last night, he made these faces.
Capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror.
And he makes that face at such a strategic point in the speech. Listen to the words again.
A stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1.
It reads as opposed, confused, not aligned, perhaps not even in agreement. And that's because the Heritage Foundation picked him, a young nobody who didn't have much dirt on him other than the fact that he said, I was a never Trump guy. Because they knew that this guy, old and not in good health, thus opening the door for the Heritage Foundation to have the presidency to hold at least the executive branch for up to 8 years. That is, if they're playing by the rules. You're gonna sit there and tell me that this dude looks to be in good health? This is from yesterday, from the Situation Room. His hair long, he's been wearing the hat more often, not just from a branding standpoint, but I wonder truly if he is sick enough that he is losing his hair. This is entirely intentional, every little last bit of it. Even look at the spacing here. Because he knows that the American people are not going to agree with going to Iran. They said that there wouldn't be boots on the ground in Iraq either. And when it is his turn, he will have this photo and video evidence to prove that perhaps he wasn't so aligned.